I mean, I do like the fact that Deanna is not afraid to get in Joey's face. It's a nice change of pace, especially compared to her weak ass, whack ass brother. What is up, everybody? It is Monday, which means we are in store for a new week of Beyond the Gates. And today's episode was interesting for the fact that I feel like they only had two story threads throughout the episode, maybe two and a half if you count Leslie, even though Leslie doesn't currently have a story thread and there continues to be no rhyme or reason for any of her motivations, which is a problem. And yet, despite that, I still contend that no matter what anybody says, no matter what some of the comments say, she is still not bigger trash than the trash this show tries to call Vanessa, who we will start with today. Today, Vanessa was meeting with her pussy ass son Donnell to talk about feelings and all of that. And Trash started the conversation with Donnell, being the awful, disgusting friend that she is, shading Nicole, who she had a conversation with earlier, saying that Nicole always has an opinion about everything and everyone. This coming from, Vanessa, who's supposed to be Nicole's friend, but all Vanessa has proved over these past several weeks is that she is a terrible person in every aspect of her life, and she deserves the worst. And I will not be satisfied unless her storyline is her receiving the worst in the end, because there is no other payoff for this torturing storyline that they continue with her and Grandpa Gangster Joey. Today, Vanessa wanted to know if Donnell had an ulterior motive, and he said his motive was that he's still worried about Deanna after the fight that Deanna and Vanessa had. But it seems as though this was a distraction from Donnell, and Donnell must have been the person that Deanna was talking on the phone with at some point in early Friday's episode. Because Deanna was with Joey, questioning him where we left off on Friday if he and Vanessa had an affair before her father, Doug, died. I don't know if Joey was going to actually tell her the truth. I doubt it, but he was interrupted by one of his casino workers about someone who won, yada, 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 that wanted to talk to the owner. So Joey had to cut the conversation with Deanna short, and Joey told her that he can't talk now. And she threatened that she will find the truth and he will have more than an angry customer to answer to. I mean, I do like the fact that Deanna is not afraid to get in Joey's face. It's a nice change of pace, especially compared to her weak ass, whack ass brother. But as we know, this show loves to write most of the guys as weak, so that is no surprise, I suppose. While Vanessa was with Donnell, Vanessa got a call from Joey calling her, and when she answered, she gave some gross response about how it's her second favorite man on the planet calling, because, her first favorite man is Donnell, but I don't think that's true. I think Vanessa puts Joey ahead of everyone, her friendships, her children, everything in her life. It is why I do call her the trash that she is. Anyway, he wanted to talk to her about Deanna, but didn't want to talk about it on the phone. So we did have to suffer through some Grandpa Gangster and Trash scenes today, which, are just very repetitive scenes, extremely repetitive at this point. When she arrived to see Grandpa Gangster Joey, he said she was going to need a drink. Vanessa was upset when she learned that Deanna cornered Joey. Once again, sticking up for Joey here, acting like Joey is the victim against her own daughter. Yet, how are we not supposed to see Vanessa as a garbage can? I am very confused how the show does not give her a single redeeming quality, but then they want to force feed us these scenes between her and Joey constantly. Joey talked about how Deanna has a backbone And Vanessa just can't believe that she interrogated Joey about the affair before Doug died. Vanessa went on about how she doesn't want to explain to Deanna about her and Doug's open marriage, which I guess is Vanessa's excuse, even though at the end, when Doug was died, he was clearly upset with the fact that she was seeing Joey of all people, so it really was an affair. Joey does seem upset that Deanna is digging in places that she shouldn't, and Vanessa is saying that if Deanna learns that she lied to her, that she was seeing Joey before Doug died, then she's going to lose everything between her and her daughter. Joey did call it that it was probably strategic with the fact that Donnell called to meet with Vanessa while Deanna could confront him. And so Vanessa left in a huff to go see her children. Deanna went to the bar to get a drink with Donnell, telling Donnell about how Joey gives her the ick, saying that he is at best a home destroyer who caused Doug to drink and drive. And Donnell is telling Deanna that Joey and Vanessa are involved whether they like it or not. Donnell's whole thing was that their dad is gone, he's not coming back, and even though he would like to see his parents together, that can't happen, and that Doug would want harmony. Deanna was saying that their dad would want justice, though, and I think that Doug would want justice because that person that Vanessa is seeing is Joey, so Deanna is in the right here, even though unfortunately it did kind of feel like Donnell was getting through to Deanna a little bit. But I hope the writing has her hold strong and continue to put the fire to her mother and Joey, because it's the only thing about this storyline that is even remotely slightly interesting at this point, since they just botched the Vanessa character as much as they have. But Vanessa ended up interrupting her twins and kind of tried to chew them out for their Wonder Twin act, saying that it was an act that Doug used to reference from an old Wonder Twins cartoon show. Deanna had the line saying that she was surprised that Vanessa remembers their father and Doug, because she just thinks that her mother puts Joey ahead of everything. And once again, Deanna is right. Deanna wanted Vanessa to admit that she was screwing Joey when Doug was still alive. Vanessa was trying to gaslight her daughter again, because that's all Vanessa is good for, is gaslighting. Vanessa was saying that no matter how many times Deanna says that, it won't make it true. In the end, though, Deanna did not want Vanessa to touch her in these scenes, telling Vanessa to crawl back to her sleazy boyfriend, who is all Vanessa cares about, and went off in a huff again, leaving Vanessa upset like she deserves to be. Donnell, I guess, is going to track down Deanna to talk to her again. I guess at least I do like that they are building this rivalry between Deanna and Trash. It's the only thing working for me in this storyline. I do think Deanna's a great character. I do like watching her. I do think she's very entertaining, and I think she's a spitfire, and I hope they keep writing her that way and not in a way that she backs down like Donnell seems to do. While Vanessa was gone from the casino, Leslie arrived to see Joey, although I guess we should say that Leslie started this episode with Marcel, where they also ran into Ashley at Orphe Jeans, who was all stressed out because of her boss, Lia, the chief of staff at the hospital, who Marcel was very interested in talking to or wanting to talk to today. Leslie and Marcel were talking about the Sharon Stone movie, where at one point she's not wearing panties, which is what Leslie wanted to play out with Marcel. You know, the dialogue for Marcel and Leslie today was not my favorite thing, but I must say I still do actually like them together in whatever this whole relationship will end up being for the both of them. They do actually kind of entertain me together, so that's a good thing. But the chief of staff, Lia, ended up showing up at Orphe Jeans to talk to Marcel. That's when Leslie left to go see Joey at the casino. And I also enjoy the Leslie and Joey scenes, mostly because Joey is just so annoyed by Leslie every time she comes around. That does entertain me. And because these scenes between Joey and Leslie are so entertaining, it once again makes me think that I am right with the fact that even though Leslie has become extremely annoying with just, they write her as just going around annoying everyone. Today she got into it with Lia out of nowhere. She just goes around, gets into little spats with people with no rhyme or reason, and that's very annoying. And yet she is still not as annoying as trash. You know, sometimes I get these comments that Leslie's the real trash, not Vanessa. No, Vanessa still sucks more than anyone on this show. And the proof is that these Leslie and Joey scenes are hella entertaining. Meanwhile, we are seeing Joey and Vanessa have the same conversations over and over. I think we've seen the same scenes between Joey and Vanessa probably 30 to 60 times by now, and that has certainly gotten old. But anyway, Leslie only visited Joey to try and get more cash out of him for the free clinic because she has more ideas for the free clinic. It really wasn't a strong reason for her to go see Joey. By the end, she said that Joey is a hard nut to crack, but luckily she has a nutcracker in her Chelsea cat bag. So we are still playing up whatever they're building for Leslie and Joey. It's just unfortunate that this show builds everything up way too damn slow. The pacing on this show needs help. It is these stories are on life support, and I think a big reason for that is the pacing. The other story today, besides the trash and her kids story, was Marcel kind of investigating Lia, the chief of staff. We saw in one of the last episodes that Elon wanted him to do this, and Marcel did press Lia about the whole blood plasma thing a little bit, seeing if he could get any info out of her. At the beginning of the episode, Nicole was talking to Lia about that security breach that happened on Friday thanks to Smitty breaking into Nicole's computer to get information. Lia was wondering what the person was after, if not patient data, and Nicole thought she was being more careful after the whole Leslie and Eva incidents in her office at the beginning of the show. Lia told Nicole that she didn't want the press to hear about this, didn't want to go to the police yet because she wants an IT trace first. But Lia did make sure to note that there will be consequences for whoever did this. And then when talking to Marcel, she made note to Marcel that one of her doctor's computers had been accessed without her permission, and he wanted to know the doctor in question. It happened to be Nicole. Ashley in this episode was stressed out about Lia and did let Nicole know at one point that both Smitty and Naomi were in her office earlier, so maybe Nicole will either be pulled into this not so great Impaler storyline, or just, you know, is kind of just a distraction for that storyline to continue to go slowly and kind of go nowhere. I do like Ashley more when she's just being a worker bee at the hospital. I was fine with her scenes today with Lia. I don't necessarily care that Lia has her stressed out. But their scene today when Lia was saying that Ashley reminds her of herself when she was starting out, minus the nervous energy. And she told Ashley not to lose the fire to prove herself, as she can get ahead if she plays her cards right. On one hand, Ashley's better as a character when she's at work. On the other hand, I feel like this whole Impaler storyline is to try and make Ashley more interesting because of Grayson, and it's still not working. Big fail there. In the end, though, Marcel stopped by the hospital to question Nicole. Nicole was surprised that Lia called Marcel since she said she was going to keep it in-house, but Marcel made it seem like he and Lia are old friends. Nicole feels terrible for what happened since it was her password that was used, but Nicole told Marcel that she couldn't think of who could have possibly broken into her computer and all of that. So he really didn't accomplish anything with these investigations. And that was today's Monday episode. Some decent stuff here and there. I mean, Deanna's very entertaining to me because she is not afraid of Joey and she's not afraid to spit back at her mother, unlike pussy-ass Donnell, so that's always a good thing. I found the Leslie and Marcel scenes okay. I didn't love the dialogue, but they do entertain me as a couple. And Leslie and Joey especially entertain me when they share scenes. But the overall arc of Marcel today investigating Lia for the Impaler stuff, this Impaler storyline is just not working. It has not been a good storyline to try and like drudge through.